We talked about the high scoring pace so for this week and second highest on the season. And that's what they bowled on this week. A surface was synthetic. 25.7 milliliters was the volume of the oil per lane, and the length of oil 44 feet. It was not a sport pattern. So it was a little bit easier than the typical sport pattern, but not as easy as most of the league conditions. Kim Terrell with the opening shot. And as Carolyn mentioned in that open, carry was tough sometimes. Kendra Gaines, 28 years old. It's her 5th year on tour, and boy, has she started to see the success out here. Finally, 4 consecutive shows. Big strike for Kendra, and I welcome Carolyn made it to the booth here.
Sorry about that.
It's a long hike up from the lanes.
Well, one of the things the 3 ladies in the first match have in common is Kim and Kendra especially, they worked on building their confidence. Kim ended the year great last year, and Kendra this year is starting right where she left off.
Anne Marie Duggan, 39 years old. That's about the time you start to wonder about family and things like that. Anne Marie's last show came last fall in Lancaster, Ohio. She's always close. She's just been missing that one edge to put her over the top, and that's what has haunted her, trying to find that.
One of the keys this week for Anne Marie, Kendra was bowling good from the very first week, and then it just led to the next week and the next week, and really that's what happens. And like I said, the routine, you know your days off, what you're going to do, and your days of practice, what you're going to do. So it builds the confidence extremely to another level, really, and that's what all the women want.
For those of you right now watching us on ESPN2, the NCAA Home Run Challenge will air later, as we will switch in a while over to ESPN. Anne Marie Duggan now up in the second frame. Big strike for Anne Marie Duggan.
Kendra gets a little further right than she had been playing. Ball doesn't quite make it to the pocket. Leaves a 2-8. Spares it.
Okay, spares goods, but Kendra said she didn't like the morning condition, the fresh shot.
Not at all. She said that was her weakest block. She didn't have enough surface, and she said even up to the last day of match play, she still didn't have any balls in the morning that had enough surface on it where she could get a good read in the middle of the lane. That's where she said she lacked her roll.
Kim Terrell now working on a strike. Match all even, and that picks her up by 10 pins temporarily.
One of the good things you see about Kim that she's really worked on, she used to wait till the middle of the match to get a little more aggressive and get herself into the match. Ever since that victory, she comes out from the very first frame to the 10th frame, aggressive every shot.
Light again for Kendra Gaines. And
now we also might be experiencing a little carry down, which happens on our TV pair, although this week a lot of the ladies tried to play further right. The outside part of the lane got a little bit tighter as the week went on both the left and the right, and it forced the ladies to play more in the track area.
Well, I'll tell you, Anne Marie looked really good last night in that position round. It was so close, including yourself. Everyone in contention within 40 pins, 4th to 9th.
Actually, it's very exciting. You know, it's nice to see when there's 5 or 6 girls in contention for the show going down the last game. It really builds a lot of excitement in the bowling center, and I think the fans really enjoyed it.
So Terrell and Duggan tied for the lead right now, both working on doubles.
And Kim said one of her weaknesses this week, if she even had one, because she was very happy with her performance all week, was that she was slow getting out of the block. And really that was pertaining to what I said. Even when she'd get on TV, she was a little slow to get started, and through the middle of the match, she'd get real fiery.
Big strike. It was interesting. I did take a look at that when she told us that last night. And she started her blocks, like the very first block with a 167, but averaged 215, and then the third block a 194 and averaged 225, a 194, a 171. So except for the last round, Kim Terrell started her rounds very weak.
And it has to do a lot of mental training. You can't get down on yourself. You have to realize that there's a lot of games to bowl yet.
And this is, I believe, what Kendra didn't like in the morning. Now, we talked to her about surface. Did she try different surfaces?
I spoke to her before they started, and she has a little more than she used, but not as much as some of the other girls used. Leanne Barrett was using a bowling ball right out of the box. And she used as much surface as she could. So
there's a look at Bob Pike. Happy Father's Day to Bob. That's Anne Marie Duggan's father. He travels with her on tour.
So I would have thought that Kendra would have had maybe one ball with her now that had just a lot of surface on it to maybe give her a little bit of a different read.
Well, the ladies are just settling in, and it's Terrell and Duggan in the lead. I hope you're settling in for the rest of our event. We'll be right back. The champion. Look at the scoreboard through 4 frames, all even between Terrell and Duggan. Gaines trailing by 38 pins. Kim Terrell getting ready to step up. She won that big Queens victory early this year, and after that, Carrie Elpert's 4th grade class, St. Bridget of Sweden School, sent these cards to Kim Terrell. How cute.
It is. It is. They always send her cards out on the road. It's very nice.
That's great. And she'll be happy with that strike. The cards brought her luck. That's 4 in a row for Kim Terrell. Kendra Gaines trying to get things going. Kendra with a lot of family out here this week. Her mom, Sue Cameron, her aunt, Robin Knobb is here, and her grandmother was to be here, but passed away last week, Dottie Roth. And we want to send our sympathies to Kendra and her family for that. Kendra feels she's here in spirit.
That's right. And I'll tell you, the spirit does amazing things.
Anne Marie Duggan working on 3 in a row. That position round we talked about, 223 to 209, defeated Kendra Gaines. That to make this show with shots just like that.
That was the most confident I had seen Anne Marie bowl in quite some time. But she said one of the keys last night, she didn't get ahead of herself. She took one game at a time, and that's probably the best last round of match play going for a show that she has bowled in quite some time.
It looks like she's carried it over to today. Ooh.
Kim seems like she got it out on the lane just a little bit further. One of the keys this week between the ladies and the whole field, but specifically the 5 on the TV show, every single one of them said it was critical how you got the ball into the lane so that the ball would read the lane correctly to improve your carry.
10 pin for Kendra. That ball just didn't hit.
She lofted it out a little bit further than she usually does, got it further right, and the ball just skated right through the break point, leaving the 2-4-10.
Now she'll go for this.
She'll change balls with a ball that goes a little bit straighter and try to slide it over into the 10. And she's giving it a pop.
Ooh, that was close.
Although Kim has worked on getting the ball out onto the lane a little bit more, she said this week she couldn't get it out as far. She had to be a little bit smoother with it into the lane to make her ball read the lane properly.
Oh, and an error for Kendra Gaines, who actually had the highest spirit conversion percentage on TV for this year going into this week.
I'm glad we didn't say anything about that. I feel
ahead,
guilty.
yeah. She was making 85.7% of her spirits. That includes, though, if she missed splits.
Another good shot by Anne Marie, leaves the 4 pin.
So Anne Marie right now really lined up. Actually, so was Kim Terrell, except for that one shot. Kim Terrell is the College Bowling USA spokesperson and hopes to be able to influence a lot of colleges to go ahead and start college bowling in NCAA sport.
Great comeback shot by Kim.